This video has a second montage, 'cause even Rocky had a montage. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you the first update for my Pan That palette. Pan That palette was created by Amber F, who'll have a link down below, so make sure you check her out. I'll also have a link down below Rebecca from Panning and Stuff, as she is also panning the same palette as I am, and she is definitely making a teeny bit more progress than I. But as you might remember from the introduction, I am panning the Revolution, the Emily Edits The Needs palette. My palette is broken, which is fantastic for holding this up for these videos, but not so great when wanting to take it traveling or just keeping it stored nicely. So this is what we are currently looking like. Up on the screen, I will put a picture of what it looked like last month. And as you can see, I do have one more pan. And I think I've also expanded the pan in Joy. So I'm going to try this a little bit different this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up on the screen the 3 face products, what they look like last month and what they look like this month, and run through how many uses I have on each. I've used Courage 16 times, I've used Joy 23 times, and I've used Gratitude 22 times. I am definitely getting a good amount of use out of these 3 face products, but I do have similar products in other projects, and I'll have all those projects linked down below. But I am now having to juggle my uses, so I try to focus on these quite a lot, but I also need to get my use on those other products. So I think using Joy the most at 23 uses is a really good number, though I imagine going forward that may decrease. But hopefully I do continue to get some decent use out of them. Now I'm going to pull up on the screen the eyeshadows, what they look like last month and what they look like this month. I used Honesty 5 times, Passion twice, Peace 5 times, Faith 5 times, Hope 14 times, and as you can see, I did manage to hit pan. And I used Love the most at 26 uses, and I've definitely expanded out that pan. So I was mostly using Faith in my eyebrows. Today I'm using my Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette. That's actually the palette I'm using for this whole entire look. That's from my Dude You Panned My Battleship project, which I have linked up in the cards. But previously, I was using Hope in my brows. And once I hit pan on the shade Hoax in my Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy palette, I might go back to using Hope to try and use up that product. I've been using Love to set my eyeshadow primer, so I have got some really good use on it. But I have been thinking about actually repressing Love up into this Kindness empty pan and possibly using it as a setting powder once I hit pan on the setting powder that's currently in my 35 While I'm 35 project. I'll have that linked in the cards as well. So though I feel like I am moving along a little bit slowly with this palette, I am getting a decent, consistent amount of use. I am finding I'm getting more use out of the face products, so I do really need to start focusing in on using some of those eyeshadows. They do have very decent dips, especially in these 3 up the top, and I do think I'll be able to hit pan rather quickly if I just focus in and use them. My goal for next update is to hit at least 2 more pans, be that in the eyeshadows or a pan in this Gratitude, the highlighter shade, though as you can see there is quite a lot of product in here, so I'm not sure if I'll be getting that low into the product. But that is what my Pan That palette is currently looking like. I will put up on the screen now a quick little montage with how we've been sitting before I jump into my baby Pan That palette. So now onto my baby Pan That palette. I was inspired by Paula from A Beauty Guru Made Me Do It, and Jalorn from J Loves Makeup. I'll have both of them linked down below. But as you might remember, I was working on my Essence Counting Stars highlighter and eyeshadow trio. This is in the shade 01, Make Your Own Magic. And this is what we are currently looking like. I don't think it looks that much different to what it did last update, though I have been getting a little bit of use. So up on the screen now, we will put what it looked like last update and what it's looking like this update. These shadows don't have names, but the one in the top left I've used twice. The top right I've used 3 times, and the highlighter shade at the bottom I have used 9 times. I was also really surprised to see that when I weighed this product, even though I got an okay amount of use on it, the weight actually went up rather than going down. That could have just been an issue with my weight from the first initial weighing, or it could be an issue with the product now. Either way, it is what it is, and we'll see how we go next update. I don't really want to put any major goals on myself for this palette, so at the moment we're just going to continue on as we're going and see how much use I get out of it, or when I start to get closer to hitting a pan. But before we jump into my final thoughts, I will also put up on the screen a little bit of a montage with how this palette was going. So this was a rather quick update, but before we finish up, I did want to let you know that during the month of February, I am going on holiday for a few weeks, which will mean that I will not be taking my broken Pan That palette with me. There's no way that I can be traveling, gallivanting around the place with a palette like this. Though, it is really disappointing because having a palette that has all the face products as well as a heap of eyeshadows in it would be very handy, but a broken palette, not so much. So in saying that, that will mean that I will probably have less progress on this palette next month than I did this month. And the same goes for my baby Pan That palette. I haven't decided yet, but there's probably a chance I won't take this one with me. Please let me know down in the comments if you are working on either of these palettes, as I would love to follow along on your journey. But until next time, I'm Verity. This was my first update for my Pan That palette, featuring my baby Pan That palette. And now, to the outro.